Hey, welcome back to Say You Look Tired. Hope you're good. Hope your week is starting well this Monday. I'm Martin.
I'm Dan.
Yeah, today, Dan, I thought we could talk about something which quite a lot of people I have, like who I work with, or speak to online. Like, one of the big things is always, I know, I don't have breakfast because I don't have time or I'm not hungry in the morning. Me personally, I think it's one of the biggest mistakes teachers can make because, let's be honest, it's one of the only jobs where you don't control your own time, innit?
100%. You can't even go to the toilet when you want.
That's it. So, like, I get the idea, like, before 8:30, you might not be hungry. And if it was a normal job, I'd say, yeah, it's fine. Like, eat later at 10. In teaching, once you're in that building, you don't know what's going to happen, do you? And that to me is the
No,
key of it. Like, you have to have breakfast in the morning so that you don't get too hungry at 11, or even if you make it to lunch, like, and then you look at maybe the chicken salad you've got or something like that and think, I want this now. I want slices of cake and I want chocolate and I want this. And to me, it's one of the places where teachers, especially if they're feeling low on energy, that's where they can start by getting it back by saying, do you know what? I'm going to start my day right. I'm going to have something with a bit of protein. I'm going to have something with a bit of carbs and like feel better about it. Like, what do you think?
no, I agree. Like there was years whenever I never took breakfast at
Mm.
all because I was exhausted when I woke up. When I'm tired, it's weird for me. When I'm tired, the thought of eating, especially at that time in the morning, just made me feel a wee bit queasy. And I was like, I don't have time. But what I would do was on the way to school, which I didn't even realize I was doing. It was so mindless. Like I wasn't thinking about it. I would call in at the shop and I would get a coffee. But when you get your coffee, you're getting a flapjack. And I'm like, this is breakfast. This is fine. But that never kept me full. And by the
Yeah.
time it gets to like 10:30, you're ravenous. And I was like, absolutely not. And I was exhausted. And like you say, there'd be some times when I would buy myself something healthy. I'm like, right, that's it. I'm turning over a new leaf literally, and I'm gonna get myself a little salad, one that I'd never prepared myself back then, and it would be in like one of them, one of them big bowls of it.
Yeah.
Like you say, it gets to lunchtime, and you don't know what's gonna happen that morning, and the class have probably been up the wall, or I've been having to deal with some sort of behavior thing, or who knows what. And by the time it gets to lunch, yeah, I am triggered. I'm like, that is it. And every school's always, well, any school I've worked in is always within a stone throw of a corner shop or
Yeah.
something. So I'd be like, that's it.
Yeah.
I'm heading to the shop and I'm gonna get. I was never a crisp person, but I'd always go and get. I would buy like a sandwich, and that sandwich sometimes in them corner shops has like the smallest amount of actual protein, like say it was a chicken sandwich,
Yeah.
two pieces in it. I'd for 4.50. But then you would buy like I would always go for a Kit Kat chunky, and I would say I want a Pepsi Max or a Diet Coke, and then I would have eaten that, and by the time you've eaten that, I don't really feel like it's really impacted me, and you're going through the afternoon, you're exhausted, and of course, I'm filling up on the coffee, like, tomorrow, leave school exhausted and starving, and probably leaving school at 5 o'clock. But yeah, breakfast for me was one of them things. I didn't even know what I could have. I didn't even think about it then. It's totally different now, but one of my friends, she always used to have like porridge oats and her blueberries, and I used to take the piss out of her because she would leave her dirty bowls on her desk. Going, how dare you eat that in the classroom? And who did I think I was to say that to her? If she's listened to this, she knows who she is. But that was her making sure that she was fueled, and
Yeah.
I was like, how do you find the time to do stuff like this?
And I think the flapjack is so interesting with it because, like, what coffee, just out of curiosity, what coffee did you used to get?
It would always be now. It depends where I got it from. There was always a Greg's on my way. There's always a Greg's on my way to school, no matter where I go. And I would normally get myself like a caramel latte, or if it's season, one of them like sugary ones, and it was always a large.
Well, that's what I was thinking because that's going to be at least 500 calories most of the time when you look at those ones. Even let's be kind and say it's 200, where it's probably way more. Those flapjacks, I've always looked at the back of them and they're about 600 calories.
Yeah.
And as you say, you've nailed it and then gone, I'm hungry. Like,
Okay.
and that's the key,
Big
isn't it?
quickies in
Like
the
when
staff
you go
room.
on the go, that's the key. It's grab, 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 grab. And I think that's it, isn't it? That in teaching, people put on weight so quick and over those years, and it is that like almost zombified, sleepwalking, like you're so busy with all school stuff. Stuff like breakfast gets neglected, doesn't it? And
Mm,
you just said then like you didn't know what to have for breakfast. Let's be honest. Like you were like super fast tracked into like being SLT. You
yeah.
were leading the school. You were probably taking meetings at the same time. You're doing webinars for like people on
Mm.
EYFS and everything like that. You're telling me you couldn't figure out like what you were having for breakfast. It's the
I think
exhaustion
for
in
me,
it.
I put no benefit in it. Like, I'm
That's
one of
it.
those people. I'm still like that these days, I think, in a way. When I don't see the benefit of it, which is a silly thing to say, I won't do it because I'm like, I'm eating later anyway. I don't have the
Yeah.
time for this.
And I think that's the key, isn't it? Sometimes it's just about like taking that step back and being like, right, okay, like, how can I do this? Like, I know my one when I was first teaching, when I noticed the weight coming up, breakfast was the first thing I cut out before I started doing it
Hmm.
properly. So I reckon it could possibly be the worst breakfast ever. What I used to
What
have
did you have?
was when I got to school, I'd have a can of 0 calorie monster, but that'd only last me till about 11 a.m. So then I'd have another can of monster,
Oh
and
my
that'd
goodness.
get me through. Now, both of them together is all your caffeine for the day. Like that's how much you should have. So I was doing that, and then like I'd always go, oh, I'll bring a salad in, but I'd always end up at the shop. First school I worked in had like a massive Tesco over the road. So like it was just straight over every day. Meal deal plus an extra chocolate bar or two. Just be a killer. Like and to me it's that prep, isn't it? It's that planning. Like when you start
Hmm.
thinking about it properly, like you go, oh, an easy thing is like I'll get rid of breakfast. But like we talked about yours, you were having a coffee and a flapjack and probably having 800 calories.
Mm. And none
Yeah.
of it
Yeah.
really touching the sides.
Where you can have something decent like overnight oats or eggs or stuff like that. Like if you think about if you just made scrambled eggs with a bit of ham and cheese, like imagine how much you'd have to have like 900 calories of it. Do you know, like
Yeah.
you would be feeling full as you're eating it, going, "I'm stuffed."
Hmm. But
Huh?
like for me, when I saw people doing that, because there's always someone at work who is like that.
Yeah.
Who can but I was like, "I'm not part of that." And I was like, "I'm not, oh, no." And I was like, "Who do they," and I would be like, "Who do they think they are with their egg whites and their bacon medallions and their, Warburton thins?" I was like, I don't have the time for this." And also I would even when it comes down to things like going to the gym or exercise, I used to be like, "That's not me. I can't identify with that sort of person, so I'm not going to do it." And when I saw people eating healthy at work, I was like, I don't know how to get the time. And then, like you say, there's always like a big Tesco nearby. The time I had finally realized that I was, you know, heavily obese, probably with the onset of diabetes, but I had the club card points, didn't I? I was like, so thank you for the point. But it wasn't good, and that's why those things they're there to like draw you in and tempt you. And then the other thing, when you were talking there, I was realizing that when I got to school, I was like wrist deep in the biscuit tin. There was always biscuits, there was always custard creams or a bourbon, and I remember lowering myself. I will probably have people complain to me when I say this. Lowering myself to have a rich tea. I hate them. I think they're disgusting. And I was like, but I was that hungry, Martin. I had a fistful of them. I actually remember that day, and I remember like eating them like a sandwich because I needed something. And then there's another thing I see. It's always someone's birthday, and there's always a celebration.
Yeah.
But the past 2 days in the school I'm in, there's been like literally, it's like a buffet of donuts and cake. And do you know what's absolutely grand? But I just noticed myself automatically now, you're not even thinking about it. As in, I want some. I was like, no, I don't want it. Because
Yeah.
I remember my coach saying to me one time, would you not rather have it where you're maybe at home, relaxed, enjoying it with a cup of tea rather than you've come into your classroom, you can't find the guillotine, you're trying to laminate something, and you're just mindlessly eating it.
Well, do you know what? I always say that to everyone. Like, I think the goal for everyone with it all should be to have chocolate, have ice cream, have whatever you want when you want it, not
Mm,
when you, speech marks, need
'cause
it.
it's there.
Like, not like, oh, I need this. I'm stressed and I need it. I just think that's a
Mm,
bit of it's not like, oh, you failed doing that, but I think it's a
yeah.
failure somewhere along the line in the sense of like something is failing you during that day if you do it. Like, even after school, I tell everyone to have like something after school, like a 3 p.m. snack. Whether it's overnight
Yeah.
oats, whether it's another sandwich, whether it's they make themselves like picky bits Lunchables, whatever it is,
Mm,
I would say it's really important for you to have it because teaching is very mentally draining and it's very emotionally draining. If you are hungry or your emotions get heightened, you're already absolutely drained. Your emotions are really heightened, and any little thing that can happen after school just sets you off to like, I'm going to nail all these biscuits. And to
mhm.
me, that's the
Yeah.
key of it. Like going, right. Well, we know that happens. So, minute school finishes before the chaos can happen, because chaos will always happen, eat and go.
Mhm,
You'll eat and just go, okay, like, I feel better.
mhm. Absolutely. We've not mentioned them in a while, but skinny whips. I remember I used to be like, "I want to have a bit, have the box," like because I'm that stressed. But like, there is such thing as like the emotional support biscuit. And I just, when you were talking there, I remembered I had a box in my storeroom hidden because I didn't want anyone else to touch. I was like, everyone would just nail this box and stuff. And my go-to biscuit was a wagon wheel. Now, some people might call that a cake. I
No,
love
wagon
because
wheel's not a cake. It's got a biscuit in.
biscuit, biscuit.
That'd be
So
like
I
saying
had
that, well, actually, they're called Tunnock's tea cakes, aren't they? But I was about to say,
Mm.
that'd be like calling them a cake, but I guess
Oh, I love a tonics. Did I ever tell you about the time whenever in Northern Ireland at Christmas time, or it could be in Ireland as a whole, they're popular at Christmas time, and we buy them by like the keg almost. So there's like the 45 of them. And one Christmas about 10 years ago, it got to like New Year's before I was going back to school, flying back over here. And I said to my ma, "Here, there's no tonics left." And she went, "Well, we didn't have any." And then, like, our my family had come to visit, and I brought it up again. I was like, "Who ate all the tunnocks?" And they're like, "We didn't have any." And I went, "Oh my god, I've eaten them all. It was me. I had eaten all 45 of them. That's disgusting." And my sister said, "Dad, I saw you one time sitting four in a row." But yeah, a wagon wheel for me was the thing. I remember I would get it, and I'd be like, "Oh, this is it," and that was my treat. Whereas now, so say when I'm at school now, well, I know I leave now about 4 o'clock ish or so, 3:30. But when I was leaving at half four, if I knew I was staying and had stuff to do, I would have like I always had eggs. I would always have boiled eggs. I love a boiled egg. Stick it in there, two of them. People could smell them a mile off. Or I'd have like my protein shaker thing with like the powder in there and just what do you call it? Put a bit of water in it and have it. So I knew that I was at least getting something that because what you don't want to do is leave school absolutely exhausted and starving, and then on your way home, you're seeing McDonald's, you're seeing the Tesco, you're seeing the Asda, or you get in home and you've prized that biscuit tin open, like, tomorrow, and you're wolfing them down. All of a sudden, you're covered in crumbs, or you're just open. I used to have ham in the hand, and as soon as I get in, I don't do it anymore. I'd open the packet and just wolf it down. It's so expensive that was.
but that's the thing, isn't it? Like, it is just it is just setting yourself up right, isn't it? Because I think a lot of teaching is just like it's give it to the kids, give it to the kids, give it to the kids, give it to the kids till you fail. That's why we've got a teacher retention crisis. That's why we've got so many teachers stressed and overwhelmed. That's why, like, I try not to do it as much as possible, but like online teaching is so negative in it. Like, and it all
Mhm.
comes from that stress. And there's all even like little things which always make me laugh, and maybe it's the same in other ones, but like I always find like I will have lots of people sometimes who will bite on stuff I say, but, in, like,
Mm.
the stupidest ways where you're like, something like, you must be really depressed to try and have that argument. You must be really unhappy. Like, I put up one the other day, on Monday, a little meme of, have you seen the person who holds, like, a cardboard cutout, the meme, where they hold, like, a
Oh,
cardboard
yeah,
pen?
yep.
I put on that and stuck my head on it, and it just said, "1 week to go." And first comment was someone saying, "Well, actually, we don't break up till the 1st of April in Scotland." And I was like, "Oh, when's the 1st of April?" And I looked, and it was 1 week and 1 day. And I was
Oh,
like,
please.
like, what like, you're in a place in your life where, like, it's irritated you that I'm not speaking directly to the day you're breaking up.
Mm.
Like,
Mhm.
it doesn't bother me, but I sometimes feel like, "Oh, I feel really sorry for that person," because you are feeling that frustrated that you wanna rant online about, "Well, actually, I have to do an extra day," you know?
Yeah.
And it all comes to me from just that exhaustion, and I think food can be the perfect way to, like, if you fuel it right and set it up, like
Mhm.
like, I don't know whether you agree, but I know myself, like, the transformation I went on, yes, going the gym, getting more steps in, everything like that was a massive help. But food was the thing that changed it,
Yeah.
because even though you go in the gym, even though you're doing those steps, I think food is where you respect yourself more. You
Mhm.
go,
Yeah.
"I'm not, like, eating shite anymore, and I'm gonna put myself first. I'm gonna take 10 minutes out my day to get this ready. I'm gonna,
Mm.
at the weekend, boil all my eggs and peel them so that I can have boiled eggs whenever I want." Do you know, it's those little
Mm.
times where you're putting yourself first. And to me, it all
Yeah.
starts with nailing that breakfast. Doesn't matter. Well, it does
Mhm.
matter what you have. You can't have, like, bag of chocolate chip cookies every morning, but it doesn't matter what you have as long as you're respecting yourself.
Mm.
That's the key,
100%.
which a lot of it sounds horrible and dead harsh to say, and I hate to talk like that, but I don't think a lot of teachers respect themselves enough.
Yeah. I didn't when I was fully, like, blinkers on. I think for me, when I was given the opportunity to be an SLT very early on, I felt the stress very quickly. But then also there's this thing in teaching as in, like, almost like keeping up with the Joneses. You
Yeah.
want to, because 'cause you're always observed and stuff, you always want to try and be as best as you can be. And because, for the children, and then everyone loves to critique teachers, everyone does.
Oh, yeah.
Even down to how, parents do it at the door. Not all parents do it, but it happens. And I just was like, "Right, I'm gonna make sure that everything's done, everything's always organized." But I had the most organized, I know my classroom was amazing. Everything was done, everything was running, but I wasn't. And I had no respect for me, to the point where, like, if you've listened to other episodes, I would roll into bed in my clothes.
Ugh.
That is utterly disrespectful for the person that my ma brought me up to be. My ma, that absolutely not. And, eating food that if we're gonna think about it in black and white, Martin, I could have had a heart attack and died. If
Yeah.
I kept going with the way I was at, like, with it when you're wearing a knee support and you're out of breath coming up one flight of stairs and you're suffering from, like, depression and all of that, like, my heart rate was always through the roof. I remember my watch telling me one time how high it was. It alerted me, and I was like, "Oh my god." And, I was 8 coffees a day. That is utter disrespect, and I just feel like, if you're a parent as well, I don't know how you do it, because I see my brother and my 2 sisters, and they're working every day. They don't work in education, but they're full-time jobs, and they've got to go to and take the kids, but they're trying to find the time to look after themselves too, but it must be exhausting, and that's when you are reaching mindlessly for things. But like you say, a lot of teachers find it hard, because I was in that boat of respecting themselves, but not actually realizing that you're doing it. You don't
No, yeah.
realize that you're doing it until you're looking back or something happens to you when you have to question, well, not what is life, but literally what is, like, is this the standard I want for myself? And
And
I
I think
remember,
that's
like,
the key, isn't it?
like,
That's
what's
the
the
key to
standard you
life.
want for your life?
Yeah. And that's the key with it all, like, that standard for your life. Like, where do you wanna be? What do you wanna do? And to me, that's the key to all of it. And I do think like it sounds really harsh to say the respect, but like you, I know I didn't respect myself. Like I know I didn't at the start, and you've almost got to kind of. I think sometimes people worry too much about like going to extremes. Like, oh, I don't want to track all my calories, and I don't want to do that, and I don't want to do this because I don't want to become obsessed with it. And you think, "Yeah, but you're at the other extreme. Like,
Mhm.
you know, I mean, I know I said it probably before I started. I imagine you probably did yourself. Like you talking about the blueberry, like, oh, I want to do that. That's not me. I don't want to do this. And it is just that, like, turn up for yourself. Stop making the excuses. I'm not saying it's easy. It's very
Mm-mm.
hard at the beginning, but anything worthwhile is, isn't it? And I think of it a lot like teaching. Like, doesn't matter how much of an amazing teacher you are, the teacher training is very stressful. You don't know what you're doing. You're not in a routine.
No.
Like some of the first tasks are like take the register and it's like a panic attack while you're doing it, isn't it? And you get it done and you're like, I can't believe I've done that. Like imagine
Mhm.
like now having a class and being like, oh my God, I've got to take the register. Like,
Uh-huh. I don't even think about it. I'm like, yeah, and
and it's the same with like making your breakfast. It's the same with doing your lunches. It's the same with like going to the gym. Same with all of it. Like
mm,
the more you do it, the easier it's going to get.
mm,
And I think it is just
yeah,
all about like we started talking about breakfast, but it's about that self-respect, innit? It's about
mm,
turning up for you so that you can be the parent that you want to be, the teacher you want to be, and most importantly, like the person you want to be.
yeah, absolutely. And start small. Like
Yeah.
start small. Don't try and think that whenever you first do, say like the breakfast thing, you might first go into it, right, I've got 5 of them ready. First week, boom. Second week, boom. Then you're in what I call the trenches. And
Yeah.
you've done it for 2 weeks and you're like, something happens or you're tired. Ooh. No, start small. Try and just do it maybe 1 day a week. I would say set yourself a range. Say, right, I'm going to try and do it 2 to 5 times this week. So if you do it two, good job. If you do it three, amazing. Five, you've hit all five. But say if you just do it one, one's better than nothing. Having a nice breakfast for yourself that's filling once a week is better than never. That's
Oh,
52. Even if you just do it
100%.
once, 52 times a year that you'll do it, which is better than zero. And if we're thinking about breakfast and things, like my go-to things that I have at the minute, I have two breakfasts. So I know, can you believe it? From zero to two a day. So I have one as soon as I get up, which is my oats, which
Nice.
I have, what is it? 45 grams of oats, which is nothing. At the minute, by the way, I'm training for something. But actually, would you when you put hot water in it and you like cook it up,
Yeah.
it's like rice. It just goes boom. So I have my oats with whey protein mixed into it and peanut butter. I do not have this at school, by the way, if anyone's going to say about peanut butter. Peanut butter, and I have 100 grams of blueberries. Love it. Love it. Keeps me
Yeah.
full. And then when I get to school, I'll have my second breakfast, which is in foil. It'll be egg whites, which I've already cooked, which is almost like an omelet type thing with bacon rashers in it. Two bacon rashers. No, two bacon, not rashers, two bacon medallions in
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And then it'll be wrapped in foil and I'll just like pick it up and eat it. Yum. With a
Nice.
cup of coffee. And I am full. I am full all the way through until lunchtime. Lunchtime, chicken. I'm going to sound generic now, chicken and broccoli. But usually it'd be chicken, broccoli, and rice as
Yeah.
well. And then, I've got my dinner and stuff in the evening. But I am genuinely full during the day. I don't get
Yeah.
hungry during the school day now.
And I think that's
And I've got
key,
that
isn't it?
energy to get me through.
It's
Oh, and
key with it
also,
all. It's key. It's key. Yeah, water is key with it all. All of it's key. It's just planning. It's just prep, isn't it? And I always think it's also like if you do kind of go out hell for leather and it doesn't work, loads of people throw it in the towel. But I always think it's a great time to like question, like, okay, why didn't it work? Why did you
mm,
make them five breakfasts and only eat three of them? Well, it's because after 2 days, maybe they went a bit manky and like you were looking at the fourth and fifth going, oh, I don't want
yeah.
that. Okay, well, we know you got two choices now. Either find a different breakfast, maybe make it the night before, or
Mhm.
do a batch, then do a second batch. Could
Yeah.
be just tweaking it,
I do mine the night before.
I have 3 different breakfasts depending on how much time I've got, and I kinda look at my
Mhm.
week and go, "Okay, I know this is a really full-on week, so this is my breakfast. I know this is quite an easy week, so this is my breakfast, and this is kind of like my bang in the middle." So my middle one at the minute is a smoothie, so I'll just
Yeah.
get it ready. It'll be in the container, ready to go. Leave it in the fridge, take it out, stick it on blender, pour it in, have that where it's just literally milk, protein powder, bit of peanut butter, and I have like the fruit smoothie pouches where it's the bananas, the berries, the raspberries,
Right,
and that
yeah.
blueberries. So it's ready, good to go. But if I'm really short on time, I have Cocoa Pops with the protein shake.
Oh, I do as well. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot I have that as well. So that's 3.
Free breakfasts. And then if I've got time, and I know, I can cook it because I like it hot. I wouldn't like it made like the night before or whatever. I'm very similar to you, so I'll have eggs with a bit of cheese, a bit of ham or bacon, and some peppers and onions, and build that in. And to me, it's like it's having those food which you like. It doesn't feel like a diet. I
Mm.
know they are all, for me, very similar calories, very similar protein, and I can pick and choose the ones I want. But it's that one of like, if I was in school, I'd definitely have the smoothie because I could make it every night before.
Yeah.
At weekends, I'd probably lean more on the eggs with the bacon or the ham and cheese, and I'd have the Cocoa Pops for those weeks. Like I just knew, like parents' evenings and everything like that, where like I'm tired, I'm not going to be prepping stuff that night, and it's just balancing it. And by asking yourself those questions, that's how you find your breakfasts. That's how you find your
Mhm.
lunches. That's a big one for me, and I think the more prep people have, the more questions they ask, the better.
Yeah, and the questions you ask yourself are only as good the questions are only as good as the answers you get. And so, now I'm on the other side of it. I go back and go, "Oh, I see why so and so is always eating that type of breakfast now,
Yeah.
and that's something they enjoy." And, like, I prep things and I one of my good friends was like, "Oh, look at you. You think you're all organized," that sort of thing, that you're high in my aim. And no, it's taken ages to get to this point, but it's also the processes you have.
Yeah.
Get some containers. Go to Pound Stretchers around the corner from me. That's where I got mine. Some containers in. Get the things in. Like you can go to Lidl and buy a big bag of oats. They're there and
Yeah.
just get, and get your yogurt, whatever. Stick it. It takes seconds sometimes. It takes me like a minute to just get the breakfast. As soon as I go in, boom, 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 done. So I attach it, like habit stack, and I attach it to something else I do every evening. So I got this from my granny. Every night, whenever I go to bed, I put a cup out on the side with a teaspoon in because my granny used to set their breakfast table up every night before they went to bed. They even used to pour the milk, bless them, into their cup because they would put the tea bag in and pour the hot water in. That's I actually know they had a teapot, so they'd pour the tea straight in on top of it.
Yeah.
I don't go that far, but I have like my tea sitting out with the thing, and then the coffee machine already has the blend,
Yeah, the
the
stuff in it, so it's just automatic.
what's that stuff called? I'm annoyed. Oh, I'm annoyed about myself that I can't remember what you call it whenever you put the coffee beans into the thing. Zzz. What is that?
Uh, Not too sure. The grinder?
Grinder, the coffee grinder. I should know that. And then puts it in the thing and and heats it up. So no, that's already in the coffee machine to go. So I've got that from my granny. That's already so when I do that, then I quickly throw the oats into the thing, tip the yogurt in, and it's in there. It's all ready to go. But I wouldn't pre-cook my eggs the night before. I do them in the morning so that it's
Just a
fresh.
bit fresher. Nice. Well, no, I
Yeah.
think it's a good place for us to wrap this one up, and hopefully people take a lot from it. But the big one is like, it is just doing those tiny little things which make big differences. And that's the key,
Mm.
isn't it? Like, the more little tiny things you can do, as we talk about that book, Atomic Habits, like habit stacking things, linking stuff, getting stuff ready early, the better it is. But hopefully everyone who's enjoyed it, leave a review. I saw we had an extra 5 star. I don't know who it was off, but we were up. I think we're over 50 now on all of them.
Oh,
So it's
do we? Is that
great.
Spotify?
Spotify and Apple together. I think there's 31
Oh
on one
wow,
and
love it.
19 on the other.
Mhm.
But no, So yeah, we always
Love
look
it.
out for it. We always make sure it's that way. And yeah, it's been a good one. And we'll speak to you in a bit. Bye now, everyone.
Bye, everyone.